Hello, everyone. Thought I might do a lesson on magic. Spirits, ghosts in the system. Little question and answer time for people. And I will wait a few minutes till people show up. And we'll go from there. And maybe I'll start with story. So I'll just wait here for a moment or two. Hmm. I have two really good stories. Well, they might not be really good. They might be horrible stories. You might not like them, but that's for you to decide. It's up to me. They're both very interesting telekinetic stories. I will probably uh, wait 5 minutes before I speak. And then after this video, I don't know. I don't know how many more I'll make. It's getting a little redundant. Palpable is the word for energy. Ghosts are energetic forms. And they hold a certain kind of density. Usually it's mental, but oftentimes you can walk into places and there's a certain quality to the texture of the air. And you'd call that, it's like a ghost in the room. You look around, you don't see it. You listen, you don't hear it. Smell for it, it's not there. But there's just something. So sitting on the bus today because the streetcar turned around the corner and a there was a there was somebody working on a building, so the streetcar couldn't go down the street, so you had to jump onto the bus. So we had to jump on this bus, and this really pretty woman is sitting in front of me, but her back is to me, and I got my headphones on, and I was just looking at her and thinking like, oh, she's really pretty, and I had this thought, and all of a sudden she just turns around and looks at me and she said, "Did you say something?" And I laughed. And there's nobody else on the bus. There's like 3 people on the bus. No one had said anything. My headphones weren't playing. I just had my headphones on, so actually I can hear different sounds. Because if you muffle out a few sounds with headphones, you can hear different different frequencies. And that's not why they were on like that. It was in between. I was looking for a song to play, and so it was very interesting because she turned around and looked at me, and I was looking at my phone, and but I seen she turned around. She said something to me twice, and I looked up and I looked at her, and I was like, oh, I was like, do you know anything about telekinesis or something? I said something very funny, and she just kind of like turned away after I said this. And I was like, why did you think I said something? And she just didn't say anything back. It was very, very interesting. And it gave me a chuckle. So I'm back at my house and I'm listening to Sadhguru talk about ghosts and about ghosts in a bottle. And interestingly enough, he's talking about being in Louisiana. And there's this person that supposedly had captured ghosts in bottles, and how he really was interested in finding a ghost. And as he's telling this story, I'm out on my balcony, and my dog walks out in the balcony, and as he's telling this story, the dog starts barking. And my dog doesn't bark. She's not a barker. She's not a Bob Barker, you know. She's not. She's very quiet and reserved. And I thought it's very interesting as he starts talking about ghosts, and I look to where she's looking at, and there's nothing there. But obviously she had energetically noticed something. All week, I've ordered things like food and just whatever. Like I just make an order from somewhere, and it's wrong. Like it comes back. Like I get my food order or whatever it is that I'm getting, and it comes back to me. Like I get the food and it's not what I ordered. I'm like, well, what could have went wrong here? Where was the failure or the miscommunication? And I wonder about those kind of things when people have different ideas in their head, or they're trying to hear something, or they're wanting or desiring to hear something. And so that is the ghost in the system, what people perceive and want. And the way Sadhguru was explaining it, I thought was very interesting. He was talking about if you weighed 300 pounds and you lost 100 pounds, is there a 100-pound ghost somewhere? It was his idea, and he was using it in the sense of ridding yourself of weight. And it's, you know, obviously if everything is mind, like what is sitting in people's minds that they're looking for? What is the ghost? What is the what does everybody desire? What do you require? What do you want? I've gotten a few emails and people asking me questions on different social media sites and whatever, asking me for something, and I'm like, but what do you want? Like, what do you require from me? And it's always it's some people want to be alleviated from something, and some people want more of something. Some people want to be released of some view of the world, and some people want a better view of the world. They want more of the world. They want an extra. They want more of it. They want, and they're both fine. I'm not. It is not judgment of it. It's just trying to explain what ghosts are. I'm not saying ghosts are good or bad. I think. What is your body? Is your body the ghost, or is your mind the ghost? But doesn't your mind make the body? These are just a couple queries. As I've made a few videos and people comment back, or I've made a couple posts and people comment back these most ridiculous things, like not even listening to what I say. Yeah, I made a couple short videos and people commented on my videos to me, and I'm like, but I answered your question in the video. I literally answered verbatim the specific question someone has, and I'm like, but what is not allowing someone to hear or see what I already answered it? They won't allow for it. That's not the answer they want. They asked the same question. I'm like, but it was already answered. And like these ghosts and these spirits that sit within, you know, the where you are and where you're going. There's something in the middle there that doesn't allow people to get to whatever it is they desire, what they want. So I used to ask this question a lot in all of my earlier videos, like, but how are you doing? What do you want? What do you desire? What is it? And that is the quintessential dilemma in all of life. Alan Watts spoke about this often. He would say, but if you came in contact with God, what would you ask for? What do you want? What would you say? You wouldn't know. You still don't know. Most people have no idea what they want. And that's why you don't get what you want, because you don't know what it is. Or specifically because you won't ask for it. My grandma always told me, if you want a nickel, you got to ask for a dime. Now, that's not what my grandma told me, but that is that's something I remember very well. You never get anything you don't ask for. That's the easy one. You never get anything you don't ask for. Yeah, but sometimes you do. You get a lot of shit you don't ask for. But the point is that there are things that, like, you know how easy it would be to get some napkins at a restaurant? You just be like, hey, can I get some napkins? You know how easy it would be to get what you want? Just ask for it. Like, yeah, it might take a little longer. Time. Not a lot of people know how that works out, and how exactly, like, as earlier when I started this, but the point was, like, I ordered a bunch of shit and I didn't get what I asked for. But okay, you know what though? I'm gonna get exactly what I asked for. It's just gonna take a few days, and it's actually gonna be free, because what had happened is I got an order that was wrong, so I made a point of saying that this was fucking wrong, so they gave me money back, and now I get a free whatever. because I asked for it, and I said, this is not what I asked for. Oh, thank you for rephrasing that. So rephrase it in your mind what you want. Don't allow a ghost or an idea to stand in the way of the things that you require. The devil's in the details, right? A devil is made of the details. You live in the devil plane. All these Christians and these, I don't know. I put vegans in the same category. I put anybody in the same category of like, you think things are supposed to be like the way you think they are? No, that's not how it is. This is a physical world. Get used to it. This is physical out here. So you don't rely. Your mind gives you the physicality. You're in this body. You have a physical body. So all these people that are like act all like hyper spiritual, and they're into the Jesus thing, and they're into the Allah, and they're into the fucking whatever the fuck they're into. Like, yeah, that's a great place to start. But you know what? Oh, you wouldn't be talking to those quote gods unquote unless you wanted something in this physical realm. You ain't spiritual. You ain't just a meta. You ain't just a mind frame. You have a physical being. So of course you're Satan, motherfucker. You're full on in Julius Caesar's world. Don't ask Julius Caesar for the things. Ask the Jesus Christ if you want. But don't clown on people that ask for something physically different than you ask for. This is where the Christianity got it all wrong. Christians want something physical all the time. They got all sorts of physical things. But if it ain't the physical thing, well, I don't want that physical thing. But you want it, so they're gonna judge you for it. Well, fuck that. This whole world is a playground. There's all sorts of shit out here. It's all physical. It's all you don't like the colors in here? We can go fucking find your own colors. You don't like the ideas? Well, make your own ideas. Now, if people are really holding true to their belief systems, they would shut their fucking mouths and deal with their own selves and what they desire and what they require. Stop mouthing out here like, oh, everybody else is doing something all foolish and stupid and blah 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 blah. Yeah, well, okay. How's your life going? If these Christians, if their lives were really going the way they wanted, they wouldn't have time to be bitching about everybody else doing the wrong thing. Foolish little children, yo, out here preaching the fucking keeping the good word. Well, you know what the good word is? Fucking mind your own goddamn business. That's what the word is. Mind your own goddamn business. Yeah. And the Christians are the first ones to cast the first stone. I thought that was the whole thing in the Bible, not about judging, but the Christians are the magnificent judges of all things. Oh, but it all could be so easy. It all could be so easy. Get rid of your books. Pay attention to what you require. Ask for it, and it come in due time. It'll never be late. It'll always come right on time. That's the thing, is that they are like, if you don't, like, if they ain't jealous of what other people got, then why speak about it? Everybody jealous about these people in Hollyweird or Hollywood. That's what it is. These Christians out here. Well, look, they're out there having the fucking sex parties in Hollywood. Well, why speak about it? How do you know? How do these people know? These motherfuckers on the TV, media, news, and these Christians and all this shit. How they know? What they read about it? Why they hinging their ideas on some sort of yeah, I don't know. Did they go to any of them, or are they just jealous because they weren't invited? Stupid. Come on, yo. Ghosts in the system everywhere, man. What do you want? What do you want? Yes. I don't know what I want. I don't know how it works. Oh, shit. Oh. Mm. What do you say to these people that could have the audacity to comment on your fucking your stream and your lifestyle and your choices? Like, go fucking live your own life. Go do that. How about that? Wouldn't that be better if you just went and did your own thing? You know, like, you know, I've seen people like when I ask them that, like, no, you know, actually somebody said to me, I said something, and somebody said, no, I need to keep people like I don't know if it was a YouTube. I think it was a YouTube video I made. And somebody said, "I need to keep the bullshit and lies that you speak and spread away from everybody else." Okay, thanks for doing that. I'm sure you go ask everybody that listens to me. I'm sure that they'll be appreciative of that. Like, yeah, way to do God's work. uh, bunch of fucking. Ain't it funny? This whole thing, ain't it a trip, huh? Well, I don't know where I'm going with any of this. I just speaking because that was what's on my mind. So let me see if anybody's in the room, and because I ain't even been looking. Let me scroll through, see if anybody's here, because this ain't even. What's up, everybody? Oh shit, there are people here. What the fuck's going on? But a bit. What up, Synchron? What up, Fire Drake? What's up, Syphil? Travis, what's up? Johnny, what's going on? Yeah, mention extensions, man. I was tripping on that for some time. Yeah, I'll do a video on the trust thing. Like, I don't trust a motherfucker. You know, it's tough. It'd be nice to. It'd be nice, you know. In like one sense, I trust the world. You know, I trust the world. I trust the universe. I do. But then another sense is like out to get their own because they don't have faith. They don't have real trust. They don't really they don't trust themselves. And that's you know, like, oh, it's a balance. It's some sort of medium between, like, you know, give allowance and trust and love everybody, but at the same time, like, yeah, everybody's out to get theirs, you know. Don't throw anybody under the motherfucking bus. What's up, Pete? Fire Jake, that's funny. You said your blood family is not your real family, isn't the ones who gave me mind and heart. Yeah, I seen this dude's shirt the other day. I think it was like a probably a death metal band. It said uh blood oath over blood kin or something. Blood oath over blood kin or something. It was very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you know what they tell you, oh, we all bleed the same, but then you know what the funny thing about the blood shit is, they tell you we all bleed the same, but then you go to the hospital, and then you say, I need some blood, and they're like, well, there's many different kinds of blood. You got the O positive, you got the AB, the B positive, the A positive, you got there's a bunch of different kinds of blood, and then you have all the different pieces within the blood. Yeah, and then you start. Oh, I thought we all had the same blood, huh? I thought we all dripped the same red blood, huh? Or y'all blue bloods, huh? Travis Cup, send me that, man. The neurokinesis, that's wicked. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah. What's up, Jonathan Valentine? What's up, Plato? What's up, Will Johnson? Jordan Wheeland in the room. Yeah, the devil lived, and evil is live, and yeah, all those fun words that are intimately linked. Sophia, these are the channels you will find to help accelerate humans through the unites and unites us with truth. Yeah, interesting. This one chick that I fell deeply in love with. It was not her name, but I asked her like if she could name herself, what would it be? And she said her name would be Sophia. I thought it was very interesting. Will Johnson, thank you. If Christ came back today, Christians would crucify him. Shit. You know how many times? I mean, I ain't calling myself Christ, but I know I am like a Jesus figure. I know I'm the Christ in that sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Christian mystic. I know all about it. And you don't know how many times people have literally church goers, church folk have called me a warlock, Satan, a demon, the devil. I was like, well, thank you. Thank you for noticing. Did I put my mascara on right today? Yeah, ain't it funny though, huh? That they don't like the real truth. They don't really want it. Yeah. Jumping timelines, speeding up evolution, and DMT. Evolution doesn't exist. Everything that exists underneath the sun has already existed. I mean, you know that kind of concept. So that we dip from the evolution to the time jumping, which is more to say everything is like Back to the Future. You know, you dip onto these different wavelengths. Some are, you know, they're just different waves. It's like surfing the waves, bruh. We out here on different waves, getting the barrel, man. We out here just doing the thing, and you jump into different waves, and it's you can't really decipher when and how. Like the way we think of it is push a button and you jump in. All of a sudden, the room is different and everything's. It's kind of like doing a psychedelic and everything starts morphing immediately. Like that's high intensity, but you'd have to you just gotta deal with the slowed down version of it. Meaning, time jumping is like I could look out my window and see that there's a house being built, and then all of a sudden, in 3 days, that house is built. Now, I'd look at the house and say, "Oh, what time is it? Did I just? How long did it take?" And then I go through. Oh, it took 3 days to finish that. Put the completing touches on that house. But you could equally, you could have a different mindset, and that house might have taken 10 more days to be built, or someone came in and knocked the shit down, and then there was a storm and it knocked the whole fucking thing down, right? You're just viewing it differently. It's like your time and space are very, very malleable. Like, I mean, space ain't malleable. Time you get to. Let me phrase this. Let me make this the right way. Time is ridiculous. It doesn't time it doesn't work in a linear way, and space is empty. But what is malleable is the physical objects that we see around us. That's the physical objects around us are what show us what time is. Right? I mean, you know what time it is because if you look up in the sky, it looks like it's bright out, so you say it's noon. So physically, what you see is the sun is moved. If you see the house built to completion, you say, well, it's January of the next year. You'd have to assume that because it had to take time to build it. Well, you would say take time, but it's not. It's just more. It's moving physical objects. If you start you go and you start moving physical objects in a different way, you could be in a whole different time. What you would consider a different time frame. That's kind of that quantum jumping. It's different. Um, the field is when you say energetics, those energetics are become physical manifestations. Come on, get up here, baby. Come on, come on. Hold on one second. Yeah. Come on, baby. Come on, come on. Meaty, up here. Come on, get up here. Or don't. I mean, just stop staring at me. That would be the best. You're freaking me out, dog. Come on, puppy. Come on, up here. Let's go. Come on, you know how to get up here. Come on. Oh, you're being doofy right now. Oh, because I'm on here, so now she's just gonna fucking stare at me. Okay. So here you go. Here. In a sense, I'm time jumping with this dog staring at me. So like talking on here. I'm at the time where the dog needs either food or attention or something. She's morphed into a greedy little bitch right now. Yeah, and so but the DMT thing, man. So DMT is basically, man, like I think DMT is really connected to ATM or atom, the atomics. What is the atom? What is the atom or the Atman or the all these words? I think it's DMT is very related. It's it puts so much pressure on your vision, not your sight, to change the way that you view it through your vision. It's like that Helen Keller quote: "I'd rather have vision with no sight than sight with no vision." So a vision of the future or the past, even you could go into the past. You could go you could go to a. I was talking to somebody earlier about like the different places he had lived and how it was like he traveled back to 1950 to certain towns. You live in certain, like you go to New York City, it seems like it's, yeah, there it is. There's Tokyo, there's New York City. And then you go to small town USA and it's like, where the fuck am I? It's like you went back in the time. People are like slow. They don't got computers. They got no internets. They got, they're in a different time frame. They literally are. So I don't know. I think that the idea of when people talk about DMT a lot, but it's in everything. It's already in your head. Like DMT is already part of the thought form. DMT is already being, dripped through your pineal if you wanna play that game. But with the foods, if you eat the right foods, you're gonna get DMT anyways. You're not gonna go like manufacture it in a lab. It's that's just quickening a process. But even if you did a bunch of DMT and had some, it's kind of like people who do psychedelics and they have this great fucking experience, like, but bring it back. What are you gonna do with it? People have these, oh man, I did ayahuasca, I did DMT. Like, okay, so what? What has it done? Can you apply that to the physical reality? No, man, but I can see how the universe works. Okay, well, if you see how the universe works, then do something with it. They're like, but bro, and that's always the thing. They come back with really nothing. Yeah, I mean the Christian, like, you know what, like Christians attack the pagans, and the pagans are the pagans. If they, there's no doubt there are people that are using magic for ill-gotten gains and wrong purposes. I mean, not that there's wrong purposes, but the Christians are the Christians are the real ones out there. Like they're doing Their whole book is a book of magic, and they get a bunch of people to stand behind them and just chant with them. They got people under fucking lock and key with the mind. And they'll come out here in droves telling you you stupid and wrong and ugh. Ugh. I mean shit. Who's the ones out there killing witches, right? It was the Christians, man. Who's the one out there doing all the wrong? Fuck that, man. Ain't no witches done nothing wrong except for the Christians that said they did something wrong, so they fucking hang the motherfuckers, you know? The Christians always want to put somebody on the cross. You killed Jesus, so now we're gonna put you on a cross. Fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, Johnny. Yeah. Well, you know what? I love it here in hell. We all live in Heliopolis. We already in the flames and the burning infernos. How do I feel about the sudden mud flood, crew? How do I feel about it? Where it came from? Well, I don't know. I think that has something to do with a collective evolution or an ability for a grander consciousness to observe that and notice that. Yeah, it did come out the blue, but I know there's some channels out there because it all is, you know, depending on if you were researching it through Google or YouTube or any other channel or use a different search engine or whatever. The information's been there. I mean, the mud flood to me is one of the craziest shits, man. To me it's more profound than the flat Earth thing. It really is, because it's noticeable. You can walk through a city, and if you have even the slightest bit, of knowledge of anything of how architecture works. I was looking at a building today and going, "There's no way anybody would. The building looks all wrong. No one would build the shit that way." It's so very obvious just from a fundamental level that you knew anything. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I gotta fuck with this dog for 1 second, y'all. All right, sorry about that, yo. Lay down. So yeah, it's to me it's so very blatant and like no matter what city you're in, you can pretty much see it. If you even have even a slightest bit of clue what you're looking for. And it's funny because I've walked through these cities and like I was always, it just didn't make any sense to me. I was like, why is this? You know, I've lived in these places like Baltimore and like major places that have like DC, all these like very mud floody places. And I was like, why would you build a house like this? It doesn't even make any sense. And it just was like, it was very curious to me. And then when you start getting into like, oh shit, what happened? What happened in the 1800s? What happened right there? And then you dig that that's some grand fucking crazy shit right there. How do you get into the next level of all that shit? How do you as a grand populace cover that up? I don't know. Was there only a few hundred people here? Was it repopulated from outside of the system? Was it just trading humans through the continents so that they lost their history, their heritage, and their did the parents just get washed away? Were there superhumans that came through to save the children? I mean, there's so many ways to look at what could have happened, but it's very obvious when you look at the architecture. It's extremely super obvious. To deny that there's some fucking weird shit with the architecture, and when you get into the underground cities and all this, to deny that, everyone would have to be like, you're fucking retarded, you're lying. because it's very obvious to see with the mud floods. I mean, that's a whole show in and of itself, you know. Open realm. What you talking about? Blood over intent. Who calls what blood over intent? And I'm very familiar with the wording and that thing. I made many videos about it. What would you mean blood over intent is what they call it. Japanese are way into blood types. Yeah, I know about, yeah, I hear you on the blood types open realm. And yeah, I've noted they even have that in like a lot of their sports things. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you open realm. I just don't know what did I miss something here on why you brought up the blood over intent on that thing. Yeah, it seems our blood is heavily polluted with plastic that's near impossible to get out. I wouldn't say anything is impossible. I think there's just we don't know what the right means of removing it is. I would say melt it, and there's a lot of ways to melt plastic. And I would suggest, um, this I think if I just spitball this idea right here, the whole veganism thing is really causing a lot of problems by introducing more plastic, and then the alkaline is not going to allow the plastic to be burnt off or melt out the body. And I think there's a big use for the acids that would help remove that from the system, especially considering, like look into what I mean. What is plastic made of? Look into the gases and the oils and the there's a lot going on there. I'll do that another time, man. But I think the plastic is the plastic is how to put this. The the original dilemma was it seems as it was the heavy metals, which I made a lot of long videos on what the heavy metals were and the connection to magnetics and the kings and queens and the scepters and magnetic pulls within the body. And now the plasticization of people, they've on onto themselves decided to get plastic surgery that took away from their humanness and made them basically non-existent. Plastic doesn't really seem to have much of a consciousness, or at least a metal. If you look into, um, you look into you've got four elements or possibly five: air, fire, earth, water, and metal. If you look into the Asian or the Chinese version, they always put metal in there. Um, So yeah, we're this going a little different direction. So we'll play with that a little later, guys. I just want to jump on here and get through that first part. I didn't realize anybody even show up to this shit. Oh, Fire Drake. Yeah. Meaty is not an. She does not like alcohol very much. She doesn't mind trees at all. But there are people. It's very funny. It's my melanated friends that I've had that she'll drink alcohol out of their hand, like straight up liquor. But she doesn't like beer or wine or liquor to any degree, really. She's not a big fan of the smell of it. So but she didn't. She's like, fuck that. She like she likes different types of things. She's very she's picky because she's had a very high quality diet her whole life, so she gets to choose what she eats. And so sometimes I'll feed her food and she'll just pick things out and push it to the side and be like, I'm not eating that. I don't want that. Yeah, Jesus, Synchron. Jesus is a title like CEO, but Jesus, the idea to me has always been. I've always agreed with Neville Goddard in the sense that the idea of what Jesus is imagination, and the idea of uh, the Jesus, the JC of the Jesus Christ, is the imagination, and the JC of the Julius Caesar is the physical world. So that's the God and the Satan. So God is the imagination, or the Jesus works with imagination, and Satan is the physical realm. So imagination controls the physical realm, and this is why you don't have idol worship. If you have idol worship within the physical realm, then you're bound to it. But if you have imagination, you manipulate the physical realm. The physical realm has a habit of controlling people's emotions and imagination. This is why you have dinosaurs. This is why you have old dudes that believe things are, oh, it's always going to be this way. It's always been this way, because they're stuck to the physical world. When you have people coming up with imagination, well, they're creating a new world. It's the whole concept of you create a new world out of imagination, not out of what's there. It's the movie Inception. Do you remember the part in Inception where he keeps saying to the girl, you have to create out of your imagination a new world. You can maybe use tiny little parts out of the physical reality you see, but in totality you have to use your imagination to create new, or else you get stuck in an infinite loop. And this is what people do. They get stuck in a loop of seeing the physical reality and saying this is what physical reality is and this is all it will ever be. And then they get stuck inside of a right-handed masculine looping scenario, which doesn't allow for growth. But if you become a whirling dervish and spin in the opposite direction, you start creating differently. Hey, what up, Apatata? I'm sorry, I can't really. It's very dark in here, and I can't really read the screen because I have my red light on. Appiana the Christ, Appetit for Spirit. Have I had encounters with reptilians and draconians? In this realm, I've definitely seen some crazy shit, and I've met some people that I seen a dude's eyes completely fucking black. He was sitting down, and I noticed, like, I tapped him on the shoulder. He looked at me, and his eyes were completely black. And then he kind of noticed that I was talking to him, and his eyes flipped into, like, so I've seen that. And like in the other realms, no, not really. Not like, I mean, I've come across a lot of different characters, I'm sure, but not in a bad way. I mean, I've had some fucking weird experiences. I've had some awful experiences. I wouldn't blame it on reptiles or draconians, because I think there's positives of those too. There you go, saints and devils, same damn thing. Law of attraction. Well, cool, man. I'm glad you're enjoying this. This is maybe not the standard diet that you'd get out of what I'm saying, but I'm glad you enjoyed. Um, yeah, Will Johnson. If Christ came back, he'd be appalled by the way he's worshipped. That's for sure. It's always the jokes about if Christ came back, he'd be like, why do you got me sitting there on a cross on your neck? That was the day that I got hung on a fucking cross. I don't want to see that again. That's kind of a but obviously that never happened, because you already are Christ, because your body is the cross. You've already been pinned to the cross. That's the point. You're already on the cross. So Lumena, what's up, man? That's crazy. He said, I had a dream where you and I were building a fire, and in the dream, I was talking to you about how I just had a dream where we were building a fire. That's fucking crazy. So many people have told me recently they've had dreams that I was in, or that I was saying something or doing something with them, or showing them energy. It was crazy. Yeah, it's pretty crazy that, like, a lot of people have said that to me. Yeah, the DMT. I've always said psychedelics and DMT and these kind of things are like a trampoline. If you're a kid and you got a giant fence around your property and you've never seen over that fence, and you get a trampoline, you can keep jumping up and looking over, and you kind of peek over and you kind of see it, but you don't get to experience it. That's what a psychedelic is. You don't interact with it. You can kind of it's like jumping in the back door and then but you got to run out. You jump up on the trampoline, you look over and you see it, but you're not experiencing it. That's what a psychedelic is. I think a psychedelic has its purposes for some people. I don't think it's useful for everyone. I think it can be very damaging to people. Um, and it can be useful for sure for certain. But then you get people who become very reliant on it, and the point is you're supposed to. It's just like magic and everything else. You're not supposed to become. You're the magician, Dumbo. Put the feather down, Dumbo. That's that. I think a psychedelic to me is equivalent to Dumbo's feather. I mean, because everything, as I've said many times, I think everything is psychedelic. Shit, me talking is psychedelic for some people. I've listened to people and just trip out on their words and like, whoa, that tripped me out. That was crazy. I've smelled food that was so fucking good I I was walking down the street maybe a year ago and came across this really beautiful smelling plant, and I smelled it and I lost my space. I lost my time. I was with a friend of mine. I was like, yo, hold on a second. I just really fucking lost my shit for a second because it was so overwhelming. And it reminded me of this thing that Savan Bomar said years ago. He said, could you imagine this is about time dilation. Could you imagine that maybe right now you're on Venus and you're smelling a plant, and that flower that you're smelling right there put you into a mental space that blasted your spiritual body to this earth, and now you're still sitting on Venus in what seems like 2 seconds on Venus, but it's become 50 years here because you're just like, and all of a sudden whoop 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 whoop, and it created this vibration, this vortex that put your energetic body into, that blasted off, and your body's still sitting there. Your body's still sitting there on Venus, and your spiritual body recapitulated, if that's a good enough word. It recapitulated itself, and it became this body you have here, and you're within a second. 10 years is 1 second on Venus, and this is what you're experiencing. So I think it happened in many different ways. You can do that here, and I had that happen where I was like, I smelled something, I was like, whoa, fucking, that was crazy. So I think everything is very psychedelic. You could look at paintings, you could have a conversation, a very deep conversation. It's all making yourself more lucid. Oh, I know. Yeah, the deep rest of the Christ. Yeah, Christmas is, especially for people that their families fucking suck cock. You know what I mean? Like, especially like, nobody really wants to go hang out with their families. Like, you could get the holiday season. What? Like the holidays? So you go spend a bunch of money on people you don't fucking like and those people don't care about you. Yeah, of course. Yeah. David T, what's up? Synchron near-death experiences. Yeah, out of body and near-death experiences. Yeah, yeah. You come back with. Usually, you take these journeys to come back and share the information. So I'm gonna wind this one down, y'all, because I don't have much more to say. I'm kind of just want to go have a little snack and try to have some shut eye. Um. Cephal, yeah, man, that sounds awesome. Let me know how that works. Send me some of your sun energy, man. What up, Zach? What up, Zach Chrono? Cephal, yeah, I've had a couple experiences where I was pretty close to. I think I could have. Yeah, I think I could have, but you know, I don't. Why not? I think there's some things we have to do physically to be able to do that. But mm-hmm. Fire Jake. I asked Awake and Brave. Yeah, I do remember. I said, "Have you levitated yet?" He said, "Not to my knowledge." uh, those very old books. You said Martin. Are you talking about like Martin Kenny? I know Plato. You said those very old books. Martin presents. Where do they come from? Suddenly, yeah. I mean, I think there's a interesting dissemination. I don't like, you know. Again, I always say I try to stay pro noia and towards the there must be a higher consciousness, a higher purpose, a higher wisdom, even if it's ourselves, that we would never fucking lock ourselves out of our own kingdoms. You know, we'd always have a back door in, and the types of knowledge that is disseminated, I think, goes to the right people at the right time in the right places. You know, if you design this shit, you design it perfectly. You know. What's up, Kurt? What's up, David T? Oh yeah, the mud flood thing and the new YouTube personalities. Yeah, I know. There's obviously a few to be wary of, but you can kind of tell on there. You know, for me, it's a sense of smell and who responds in what way and how quickly, and you know, obviously how quickly the channels grow. Blah blah blah. You know, where are they coming from? For me, it's always vocal. I can. It's a resonant factor. You can't. It's very tough to trick a trained ear on the same way you can't. Somebody, it's like this. You know what a strawberry smells like, and you also know what a fake strawberry smells like. Like a bitch that comes to a club wearing the fucking fake vanilla perfume is wildly different than what vanilla pie, you know, vanilla ice cream smells like. You know what I'm saying? So I think you don't even got to be that trained on those things, but if you just allow for it, it's very simple to see through, uh, to hear the tin of someone's voice, the tone. It's very easy to smell. It's the noses, right? And if your ears are accustomed and attuned to it. But yeah, I hear you on all that shit. It's funny. Appetite for spirits. I just got some black seed oil sent to me, and this is telling you about how orders got all fucked up. It got fucking shattered. The lid of it broke and spilled all over the fucking place. So when I got the package, it broke right when it got to the mailbox, or else it would have been everywhere. So like the mailman put it in the box wrong, and it cracked the top. So I gotta order some more. Very funny you say that. And simple. I'll go farther on the DMT for you, man. I'm just a little worn out right now. And David T, I dig what you're saying there. Yeah, I think it's ascension or descension or stagnation. David, yeah, I hear you about the NASA thing. Billions and billions. Um, Yeah, you know what's funny? I got one of his fucking awesome shirts, man. Illuminati t-shirts. I think it's pretty fucking cool. He's an interesting cat. I try to get in contact with him. I'd love to do a video with him. Hey Sonny, hey Sonny, any of you cool cats? Why don't you get on a show and tell him to do a show with me? Tell him we gonna dig in different. We ain't gonna just like speculate and talk a bunch of Christ weird shit. I know he always got call-iners. He's got a lot of people that call in and talk about Jesus and shit. No, we gonna talk about real shit. So tell him to a video with me. I'll let him host it. I don't give a fuck. I'll host it. I don't give a fuck. Whatever. Law of attraction. You got this name like 15 years ago. Hey, what you want me to talk about? Hey, David T, you want me to talk about Zen? In what way? What am I not talking about Zen? Everything is Zen. It's kind of like the Tao. There is nothing that is not the Tao. The me feminine and the I masculine. I don't know about that. Well, I'll dig into that a little bit. So yeah, let me get the fuck off here, y'all, because I'm zoning out a little bit. It's a little late, and I definitely want to take a nap. Yeah, the way of Zen. Yeah, it's the Alan Watts is big inspiration for sure. Fire Jake, yeah, we'll talk about the Aboriginal language soon. Um, okay, cool. I got to the bottom of this finally. Enjoy. Yes, arigato. Stay well, everybody. Sorry to end this so abruptly, but I'm just mad tired. I wanted to end this like 30 minutes ago, but there was enough people in here that I could chat for a second. So stay well, do cool shit, enjoy your dream travels, and feel free to try to get out of body and come fucking hang out with me. Wake my dumb ass up, grab me out of my body. I've had a lot of crazy dreams recently. Maybe some of you were in them, but come fucking feel free, pull me out of my body. It don't bother me, and we'll go do some cool shit. We'll go travel the world. Or at least walk around New Orleans and see some stupid shit. Stay fresh, everybody. We'll talk soon. Bong bong.